Hi guys, welcome to the Popcorn Frost. On this new channel, we are going to talk about movies, Marvel, DC, a lot of things. So let's get started. Today I'm here to talk about a new movie, which is Spiderman Brand New Day. This movie was really amazing. Why? Well, some people are comparing it with the last Spider-Man movie, which was No Way Home. They're saying that there was more action in that movie. Whereas this movie, it's kind of like more on the emotional side. Yes, there's action. There's obviously really good action as well. But my take on that was the action scenes were smaller, in length. And, they obviously have got Hulk, Punisher, a lot of new characters as well. So let's talk about it. We are going to proceed with POVs of each character. And let's start with Spider-Man himself. Tom Holland plays Spider-Man beautifully. And this movie takes Spider-Man's arc further from the Brand New Day to how he is after that movie. He obviously still miss his Aunt May. He also miss time he spent with Ned and his girlfriend MJ. But on the other hand, he's spending more time being Spider-Man and being the vigilante. Now, this movie also has good comic timing. And some scenes with Punisher that Spider-Man has. They're on the comic side of things. And I didn't expect that from a character such as Punisher, because Punisher himself is a very serious character. Good thing is Spider-Man is trying to cope with this, and I think he's doing a great job. So he goes to a party with where there's Ned and there's MJ. However, so something happens in this party that he doesn't like. Obviously he sees MJ kissing someone, her boyfriend, and he doesn't like seeing that. So he gets into trauma, and then things start happening with him. So the way they've shown it is he's more things such as getting organic webs to start with. And then he starts getting new powers. And then he's turning more spider than more man. And that's taking over him. So that makes him go and talk to Hulk and to find out how Hulk is coping. Moving from that to Hulk now. From the point of view of Hulk seems to be happy. He's coping well with, I should say Bruce Banner is coping well with Hulk personality. And he's quite happy. He's teaching in a university. He even takes, he goes well with Hulk jokes as well. And he's in direct touch with Avengers. So he seems pretty happy. And he's got a device which helps him in controlling Hulk coming out. And This device gives Spider-Man an idea on how to be, like how he can control his new powers and new, I should say, gene taking over. That was quite amazing. And Spider-Man then starts working on this new device called the inhibitor. Now, this inhibitor controls the new side of things that Spider-Man has got, which is good. Like it's he's able to make that, but he couldn't himself, so he needed someone more expert. And who's the expert here? MJ. So yeah, MJ helps him in making this, which was quite odd, to be honest. And talking about MJ, let's move to MJ now. MJ has forgotten who Peter Parker is, and she's moved to into a new relationship. She's completed her degree as well from MIT. Because in one of the scenes you can actually see that degree. And she's going to interviews and trying to find a job, but she doesn't want to work and things like that. So she's coping well with her life. Obviously, she's forgotten Peter Parker. She knows who, like, there's Spider-Man, but she doesn't know who Spider-Man is. And she has a roommate, which is Ned, and she has a happy life. But there's something that she still feels, and she feels that there was something somewhere which is missing. And that makes sense because she obviously lived that life. What they've shown in this movie is development on that character arc for MJ as well. So obviously Peter meets MJ not as Spider-Man, as Peter, but then he doesn't say his name. He says something else. And they interact. Peter obviously still loves her. But then he's trying to protect her as well from a new villain, which I will just talk about in a few minutes. And yeah, the chemistry is always amazing. Tom Holland and Zendaya, that's just amazing chemistry. And even in comics, Peter Parker and MJ, they're great. And if you've played the Spider-Man games, you would know their chemistry is quite good. And they do pretty well together. Anyways, MJ then is still trying to live her life, and she meets Spider-Man and helps Spider-Man in building inhibitor, which, if placed on a mutant, controls their mutant gene. So I reckon that inhibitor will play a big role in mutant saga that they are trying to set up in this movie. So that's why Spider-Man puts that inhibitor on himself, and he tries to control the new things that are happening to him. He still obviously wants to use his old webs, not the organic webs, because he can't control them. But Peter too, which is Tobey Maguire, was using organic webs, and there was a good discussion on this in the last movie, which was No Way Home. And yeah, so later in the movie, obviously MJ finds out that Peter was the Spider-Man, but now she doesn't have the feelings for him. So this is very mature, to be honest. The way they've moved this character arc from teenagers to mature people and handling it very maturely. So obviously she knows there was some history from between them, but now she doesn't remember, so she doesn't really have those feelings. Like, there's obviously something which clicks, but I feel like she doesn't want to let him go, and she's missing something, but now she can't commit to it because obviously she doesn't remember any of that, which was quite amazing. Like, the way they have shown it in the movie, it was quite good. Moving to Punisher, obviously he's got the comic side in this movie, which I never expected, and that was great to see this angle of Punisher as well. Moving to MJ's roommate Ned and Spider-Man's best friend I should say. So Ned obviously was in MIT with MJ, and he is working on finding who Spider-Man is. So he's curious about Spider-Man's identity, and he's working on that. And he has been trying to figure out. So he's got a couple of targets who he thinks can be Spider-Man. And he actually shows that to Peter, which was quite good. And yeah, Ned really believes that he can track Spider-Man, so he created an app called Spidey Tracker, which apparently a lot of people use. And this app shows where Spider-Man is, and this particular bit is actually connected to the end scene, the end credit scene. Yeah, and that Spidey Tracker, whatever they call it, shows Spider-Man moving from one location to other and where he is currently. And now let's talk about the main villain in this movie, which is Jean Grey. Yeah, so Sadie Sink has played Jean Grey. If you have seen X-Men movies, you would know who Jean Grey is. Very powerful. But the way they showed her powers in this movie, that's not how they've shown her powers in X-Men movies. So that was something that wasn't making sense, but they provided an answer in the movie. They actually said her powers haven't evolved, and on this character arc they've shown her evolving as well. So mutants get their power from X gene, and this X gene gets matured on puberty or when they have a trauma. So in this movie, obviously Jean already has some powers from that X gene, but those powers evolve when she is traumatized, and she's looking for something called VMAX in this movie, which you should go and find out what VMAX is in the movie when you watch it yourself, because I don't want to spoil it. Oh, maybe I've already given you a lot of spoilers from the movie, but at least watch this movie to find out what VMAX is and why Gene does that. Moving to another character in this movie, which is the Hand. These are some ninjas that are now with Department of Damage Control, and they used to be villains. Spider-Man caught them, and they are behind the bars, I should say. But then they were also working for Department of Damage Control. What I loved was the fight scene between Spider-Man and the Hand. The coordination was so good. Like, you can easily tell that this was coordinated by Jackie Chan's team. Like, literally, they move one after the other. And I just love that. And the way they fight with Spider-Man, that was crazy. And I reckon if Spider-Man didn't have the new powers, he would have lost. Another character in this movie, I should say, is New York City. So I watched this movie in 3D, and then I think 3D was pretty good. And all the swinging scenes that Spider-Man has, then they're not always, the camera is not always on Spider-Man. So he goes in the frame and then he gets out, and then so it's not like it's picture perfect, but that's what makes it perfect, because he goes in the frame, he goes out, then he comes in the frame and things like that. So the swinging scenes were pretty good, and if you've watched it in 3D, you can actually feel the New York City when he's swinging through there. So that was quite amazing. And then there's director of Department of Damage Control, which I believe will be in a villain and mutant saga as well. And that has a character arc as well, from a friend to enemy, and why is he doing things. What I really loved about this movie was they bring a character in and they leave breadcrumbs for new movies. So we all know that there's Avengers Doomsday coming out, I think in December, and that movie obviously has a lot of heroes. Whether Spider-Man is gonna be in it or not, that's still a debate. At the end of the movie, they did say Spider-Man will return. What they don't say is which Spider-Man and which movie he's going to return. So it's possible that in Avengers Doomsday they have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man or Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but they don't have Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Or it's also possible that they bring him in and he gets that Venom. He becomes the Black Spider-Man. Yeah, that's also possible. But let's talk about the end scene. So end scene was there's only one end scene, one end credit scene. You have to watch the whole credits. What I normally do is try to think of a name and try to find that in the credits. So that makes them makes you pass the time quickly. But anyways, that's me. So what you can do is, if you don't want to stay for end credit scene, you can just watch it online. A lot of people have actually released that, but I will tell you what really happens in that. So Nat has developed this Spidey tracker app. That tracker shows that the movement of Spider-Man. In this end credit scene, it shows that Spider-Man is actually somewhere in space, whereas Tom Holland himself didn't actually go to space in this movie. So my guess is it's either Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man or it's Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but it's not obviously Tom Holland. And that literally shows that, because it's not on a planet, it's somewhere in space. So he could be on, I don't know if you know about Secret Wars. There's something that Doctor Doom creates called the Better World. The Better World could be at that location, and maybe Spider-Man is at that location because this movie is set up in 2028. Or, but there's obviously something in that location, and that's Spider-Man. So that's what this end credit scene shows. But yeah, it was a good movie to watch, to be honest, and I think this movie is making a lot of money as well in various locations. When I tried to watch it, the show was houseful, and I was trying to get the tickets. The movie was good, so you should go and check it out at the theaters and cinemas. And I reckon you'll love it. Make sure you carry some popcorn and the frost. Now make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, so I have some people watching these videos. I want to be honest. And also I will be bringing a lot of new videos, if you haven't watched my shorts, you should go and watch them as well. And there will be a lot of new videos on movies on this channel, so please do subscribe. Thanks guys.